I got arrested in January.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got arrested in January. It was ridiculous. I was moving, and I happened to have I hadn't had a knife collection, and I had a couple of my knives from my collection going to my new place. My friend and I got pulled over. He had a warrant for an unpaid ticket.
Your friend?
Yeah, and they asked if they could search the car. He was like, "Yeah, no problem." And they found this knife. They were like, "Is this knife yours?" And I was like, "Yeah." And
they saw the tats and the jewelry.
And they put me in handcuffs and they took me to jail. And I was sitting in jail, and I had also gotten arrested at 17 for another
Were you working with Disney at the time?
At 17, no. I was just finishing Fuller House at this point.
I think I remember seeing this.
I don't know. I definitely talked about it.
Okay. So you're saying it didn't make the news?
No, it didn't make news.
Oh,
it didn't make
wow.
news. I don't think. I mean, I admitted.
It did now.
I admitted to it, and like I handled it, and like I was 17. I was a minor.
Fucked up.
But yeah, that one was a fuck up. Like that one, most definitely, I'll 100% take accountability for it. It was a fuck up.
Okay.
This
Did
one.
Did you hurt somebody?
No.
Oh, good.
No. I hurt myself, but like that was it.
Okay.
But this recent one was just like, I almost, not in a spiritual sense, but in a bit of a spiritual sense, it was almost a sign to be like, I sat in this cell and I was like, what am I doing wrong to be here right now? Like, because everything on paper, I never should have been there. Like, I was moving. I wasn't out partying. I didn't have the knife on.
Your higher power was like, and you're going to be put right here now.
And then I sat there and it's so weird. I heard Folsom Prison Blues
love
by
that song.
Johnny Cash in
I
my head.
fucking love Johnny Cash.
And I love Johnny Cash. And I kind of just thought about that movie, Walk the Line, because it's one of my favorite movies. And I just realized, like, I was still a prisoner under a coping mechanism that wasn't healthy. Like, I'd been drinking a bit. I didn't have a drinking problem, but I was drinking a lot more than normal.
You binge drink?
I was binge drinking.
I binge drink. Yeah,
it wasn't even like a drinking problem in the sense where I was needing to open up a bottle every day.
Right.
But when I did open the bottle, It was like a 2 or 3 day bender.
We were partying.
Yeah. It just was like nonstop. And
and you call it, it's interesting, you called it frat boy behavior before, but that's like, alcoholism happens to so many individuals
we don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just kind of sat there and I was like, is this what I want to be? Sitting in this cell right now. Like, this person that I am sitting in this cell, is this who I want to be? And I was like, no, I'm a shadow of the person I want to be.
Who do you want to be?
I want it's really odd. Like, it's not odd.
It's
but
not.
my love in life, I love helping people. I love teaching people. I think in life we experience these things and then we can all sit down with each other at the end of the day, like we are right now, and discuss our human experience and compare our human experience. And maybe and more times than not, one of us has experienced something the other person has not. And maybe we can give a little wisdom. And I think that's what we take to the grave. We take not our belongings, but we take our experiences and we take what we left. And I kind of was just like, am I leaving? Like, I kind of thought to myself, that scene in Walk the Line, when he's like, if you were laying on the side of the road and you could only sing one song, what would you sing? Is that the song you would sing? That was my moment. It was like, if I were to drop dead right now, would I be happy with what I have left? And the answer to myself was no. Like, I did not think I was nearest my true potential. I didn't like where my relationship was at with a lot of people in life. I had found contentness in being alone, but I found too much contentness in being alone. Like, I'd gone from a complete extrovert to like an extreme introvert that would only be social if I was drinking. And it was like,
You had a lot probably to work. I mean, you have so many wonderful thoughts. It's probably like you were working shit out and you didn't even realize it, like on a subconscious level.
Right. Yeah. So I said that day, I kind of spoke to my friend that passed away, like, out loud. And I was just like, because it almost felt like the way I was talking to myself was the way he used to talk to me. Like, he would be like, fucking idiot. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, you can do anything. Like, what are you doing? And that's how I was talking to myself. And it almost felt like he was talking to me. And I said that day, January 13th, I was like, I am coming out of here and I will spend every day forward trying to better myself in some way or another, or trying to like do something that I'm happy about, you know? And of course there's always like trips and falls and stumbling, but like I haven't had anything that I haven't been able to shake. And I think it's only because I've been through all of this that I said that day, January 13th, 2023, that I will not allow anything to hold me down again. Like, I will get up and I will go through anything with a smile on my face, and it's not going to always be easy, but I will find a healthy system of people around me to support me. And I've been doing that.
Have you been like, do you feel like once you made the decision, then you kind of like manifested more of that? Like, I
think what I actually did is I started crowd controlling. I started looking at the people around me, and I like phone calls where I'd like call people and I'd be like, look, like, I love you as a person, but you are not healthy for me to be around.
That's fucking awesome. Was that empowering for you to say that?
It was.
Because I'm like really bad with confrontation. I don't talk to like two of my sisters because they're too much for me and they're active whatevers. And so I just, they're what do they call in the qualifiers or whatever when you go into recovery and Al-Anon. So I'm like, I can't. And I feel like a coward for it sometimes because am I missing out on relationships with my little like, you know, nieces and nephews?
Right.
And it's very emotional for me, and I'm so proud of you to be able to do that. That's so cool.
Yeah, and like I said when I called them, it was like, I'm not out of your life. I'm just a step back from your life. You know, like I said to them, I was like, if you ever need anything, call me. Like I'm not out of your life. Like this isn't a hateful thing. It's just I need to do what's best for me. And where you are positionally and the choices you are making are not healthy for me to be around. And I just started kind of just doing that with certain people and certain aspects, and like clung on to those couple people. I really started reinforcing the relationship with my dad again and getting close with him, and like he got diagnosed with cancer in August. And I just kind of like just started valuing those sorts of, you know what I did? I went backwards. Like that, I took that step of like take 5 steps backwards to go 6 steps forward. I kind of reverted to my childhood, which was scary because there's a lot of trauma in my childhood. But I went to the comfort places of my childhood.
Tell me where. Where is that?
Like reading again and like getting into history. I loved history growing up, and like learning about science and like being with my horse. I grew up riding horses, like being with my horse, like spending time with my dad, writing music, like. And, you know, it's crazy what happened in those 6 months. Like in those 6 months, I would like to say I've written some of the best pieces I've ever written. I'm in negotiations with a record deal now.
Yay.
Like there's just, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I not even in a spiritual sense of like manifestation, but in that sense of I manifested like who I was going to be, and I put the actions behind the words that I said to myself. And so far, like, it has worked. And I know that there will be slips and there will be falls.
What do you mean by that? You said that again.
Like slips in the sense of, like, there's always going to be things that happen that aren't good, you know? Like,
what does that mean?
A death.
You're saying exterior things.
Exterior things.
That might trigger you.
Yeah, or, like, you know, I am diagnosed, like, depressed.
Okay.
So when bad things happen, like, they can ride my mental hard, you know? But, like...
Yeah.
And I get
and
stuck
it's cyclical.
in like a depressive episode for like, and it could not even be anything that severe, but it'll hit me like a train.
Yeah.
But it happened like, I want to say a month and a half ago. My dad's health, and I lost some people around me, and it was, you know, my friend's 1 year coming up, and just like those kind of things like all piled onto me.
Yeah.
And I went into like a depressive episode. And I was like stuck in bed for like 3 days, and I got a text to like get out to go do like a photo shoot and things, and like it got me out of the house because I was like, oh yeah, I'll go do the photo shoot, and I got out of the house and like yeah,
you want to take a picture of me? I'll go.
Yeah, I'll go do it. And it was just like an excuse, you know what I mean? It was like, this is a reason to get out, and I got out, and then I was like, I feel good being outside. Like, what am I doing being in bed for 3 days? So it was like that. Have you
heard the voice of was it your nephew, your cousin? Who is it that passed?
My best friend.
Yeah, your best friend. Have you heard that voice since ever telling you to get the fuck out of bed?
You know what I do here? I hear like in times that I'm doing things enjoyable and stuff, he had a very particular laugh, and I hear his laugh.
Thanks so much for checking out this clip for the Vulnerable Podcast. For the full episode, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. That link is in the description. Thanks again.